with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
With the regular season approaching, the Miami Dolphins found themselves sharpening their tools in the second preseason contest against the Las Vegas Raiders. At a total of 28 points scored combined, the Dolphins were on the losing side of a 15-13 final. Starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had his first taste of exhibition action and went 6 for 8 on the night before being pulled by head coach Mike McDaniel. Regular season reps are getting closer and relevant snaps are only weeks away, but until then, iron will continue to sharpen iron. Fins up, Fin fans, now back to Charlie and Kadeem.
We got a couple guests on the show, couple friends that come on, and I really enjoy these boys. They're like family to the podcast. They're not even friends of the podcast. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into them because I want to bring all of y'all boys in at the same time and holler at y'all. But it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Hey, let's bring in 5YardLee from the Dol-Fan UK and DraftKings Jason. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, really well, guys. How about you? You good?
Yeah, man. We appreciate you guys coming back on, man. And it's a little different the way we started today. I didn't even give Kadeem the mic yet. I know he's like, what's up with this guy? You know what I'm saying? But listen, y'all three are from the UK, right? And everyone knows, and this is a spoiler alert about the UFC real quick. So if anyone is listening, don't know what happened over the weekend, you might want to fast forward like 3 minutes. So y'all boys are from the UK, and one of the most epic comeback knockouts just happened last night at UFC 278. Leon Rocky Edwards is from Birmingham, all right? And this
from where?
Birmingham.
Oh, close.
That's not it?
It is in Alabama.
Oh, how you pronounce it?
Birmingham. Like we don't pronounce the ham. It's like Birmingham.
Man, hey man, y'all get out of here, man. So listen, so Dog is from the UK, all right? And the only, I want to say, title holder, the only champion that to come back to England was Michael Bisping, all right? But Michael Bisping trained in the United States. He moved to the United States. Did we lose Jason? We're back. We got him. Cool. So Michael Bisping trained in the United States, won the title. Leon Rocky Edwards, bro, had the most historical comeback ever in the history of the UFC. This dude had the longest, most difficult run to a title. Took 4 years, ain't losing like seven years, and defeated the pound for pound most basically toughest champion there is in the welterweight division. And this dude did it against all odds. And I'm sure Jason probably knew the lines and everything. Sometimes you come out on the right side, sometimes you come on the wrong side. But this man ended the fight with 50 seconds left and lost every round beforehand. Bruh. I'm about to go on a podcast with y'all boys over there in England right now. I'm like, man, that's crazy. If y'all haven't seen it yet, y'all gotta check out a couple of the clips. And I wish Charlie Wilson was here because we gotta start Go Time MMA. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all boys coming on. Even if you haven't seen anything, I'm pretty sure you're gonna see it within the next day or so. Like, it has to come across y'all pipeline for sure.
Again, you'll be surprised. Like, I only know about the knockout because on Twitter this morning, you had retweeted like 4 or 5, like, oh my days, this knockout. and SportsCenter had the video of the guy knocked up. I didn't show the knockout. So I'm like, at least show the knockout before. And I think there's a clip of is it Joe Rogan? Just like,
Yeah.
So like I've seen all the clips and the memes, but I haven't seen the actual knockout yet. So I'm sure we'll get it.
So nah, man, hats off to dude, because he never moved to the States. He was like, yo, I'm telling everyone from the UK, we don't have to go to the States to bring back a championship. And for him to do it the way he said he was gonna do it after 7 years, bro, I shed grown man tears, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was like, oh my goodness, bro. You know what I'm saying? And Jason, I know you've been on the wrong side of a couple maybe parlays that was like, oh man, this is heartbreaking. Last night I was on one of the good sides. I'm just saying, maybe that's why I was crying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, let's get into this review. Dolphins, Raiders. What you got, Kadeem?
So I done the typical. I'll go to sleep. I'll watch it in the morning. You know, and I found myself staying up until like 2:30, 3 o'clock watching it. And I kind of feel like Coach McDaniel teased us with, you know, you're going to see Tyreek Hill, you're going to see a few of the other guys, and then right before kickoff, nope, not playing Tyreek Hill. And it was like, dude, you are killing me here. But we saw Tua, obviously no Jalen Waddle, and listen, wins and losses in preseason don't matter too much. It was just good to see some positivity going forward. Starting with you, Jason, did you stay up to watch it, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, I did. I stayed up. Keep it to the first half of the starters in. I thought Tua was good. I thought it's what we want of him. He went through his reads really well. He was very accurate. I said there was that one. I was chatting to Lee last night, and I thought that one throw to Gesicki was early, but then all the replays have proven me wrong, and it was actually a good ball. So I'll eat my humble pie on that one. O-line, again, the depth there could be the worry. But again, there's a lot of pieces to come into it. I know Williams didn't have a lot of snaps. Armstead wasn't in there. But there were some things to like as well. Overall, I think McDaniel's just going to tease us every offseason as long as he's our coach, because I don't think he wants to give anything away. He's very vanilla. There was some good performances in the second half. Azukanama was very good. I think he's just carried it on through camp. So yeah, I think there's more positives than negatives to come out of it for definite.
Yeah, for sure. Lee, our first taste of Tua this summer, you know, end of the season, just how good was he? And talk us through that pass to Gesicki, which at first it was like, that's on Tua, but like Jason said, you watch it back and that was prime Tua on the money going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because you don't want to see any player get blown up in the preseason unnecessarily. And I think Tua's playing it as if he's playing in mid-season form, and Mike Gesicki's playing that ball as if it's game 2 of the preseason. Like, I don't need to be taking this hit. Like, I think we can safely assume in the regular season Mike's actually going to catch that and take the hit, because that's what he's done all his time in Miami. But I just want to go back to something Jay said. People have to realize that when you're watching the game here at like 2 o'clock in the morning for a preseason game, you have to watch it the next day to get some actual context, because it's too late.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've played Madden for years, and Madden over the past few years, I brought in like aggressive catch, yards after catch passes, and possession catch. And that throw to Gesicki was where you throw it and you press X or A, possession catch, and you dive straight away. Because had he caught that, he's getting hit, and he's getting hit hard. Charlie, what did you make of Tua? He was, what was it, 6 for 8, 58 yards? I believe that was his stat line.
Yeah, 6 for 8. Yards don't matter to me in preseason. Dolphins lost to the Raiders 15-13 in the preseason game. Reason why we probably don't bring up the scores because, you know, scores really don't matter right now. And it's crazy that I'm on a podcast with 3 guys from the UK, and they have to watch preseason games at like 2:00 in the morning. That's hats off to y'all boys, man. I wish I had a round of applause drop so we could just, man, y'all are some real soldiers, Dolphin fans for real for doing that. But about that Gesicki catch or Gesicki throw, the Tua throw to Gesicki, is it me or was it more routes that were bang bang plays like the Myles Gaskin fumble? Myles caught it inside the 10-yard line, turned around, got hit as soon as he caught it. I'm like, man, come on, coach. Like, can we not drop some different routes where they're not always bang bang? And I kind of thought it was more than just those two as well. I think Sanders had one in the first half that was pretty bang bang, but I could be tripping.
Mike had one on a ball from Teddy Bridgewater as well.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. I'm not sure. I still got to see it some more. I will say this though: the O-line in pass protection look pretty good. And the run blocking did not look as good. Here's my thing. There was a possession where Gesicki was in, and for those who haven't seen the preseason game, Gesicki stayed in going into the third quarter. He was in the third quarter. And when asked about it, Gesicki was like, yeah, I need reps in the new system, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm going to be real with you. We gave up a safety. Teddy gave up a safety. Teddy Two Gloves gave up a safety. The blocking wasn't the best. It looked like a blown block. Maybe Gesicki was on the right side of the line. It looked like he did his responsibility, but someone came late on a delayed blitz. It was – I watched it back once. I don't know what was going on in that play. Are we concerned about Gesicki in the system?
I'll let Jason take that one before I answer it. Jason, are we concerned about Gesicki in the system?
Yeah, I think there's got to be concern with all the rumours. As good a blocker as Smythe is, and he's also got that ability to catch as well. And when McDaniel came out and the Shanahan offense and said what he likes, one of the main parts he likes was a good blocking tight end. We know we're going to see a lot of outside zone. Whether Gesicki is going to be good enough to what's sort of the way of saying it? There's going to be a minimum level that McDaniel requires as like a trade-off to his receiving ability. And whether he can reach that level where the trade-off becomes acceptable, that'll be the big question for him. The fact we've seen him play so much in pre-season already, he isn't there yet. He isn't at that trade-off level. So there is definitely concern there. I say I'm a big Gesicki fan, but if he doesn't fit in the scheme, he doesn't fit in the scheme. And we've got too many other pieces in the scheme that do work to try and fit him in. So I'm concerned for him at the moment. I'd love to keep him on the team. But we're going to have to see if he can reach that minimum level where the trade-off's acceptable.
Yeah, I think if this was a game in which it was Tua, it was the full starting offensive line, it was Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the outside, Cedric Wilson in the slot, and Gesicki, and we get a kind of performance, I'd be like, well, hold on, this, something's not right now. But Charlie, you said it on the show before, how is the defense going to stop Miami's offense when it is Waddle, Hill, and Gesicki? Something has to give. So I'm not going to say that everything is, running perfectly. Even I was concerned by how much Gesicki stayed in when all the other starters came out. But if there's one thing we know about Mike Gesicki, that when the lights are on, be it 1st and 10, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 30, if you're going to go to someone, it's probably going to be Mike Gesicki. Well, obviously, you've got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill now, but I still have faith in Mike Gesicki. I said it before. The interesting thing will be around the trade deadline, where Miami are as a team and what they do with Mike Gesicki. Do they try and bring in an offensive line piece? Do they try and get a second for him? But that is in like 2-3 months' time down the line. Before we move on to Teddy the Two Gloves, Sky Thompson and that lot, there has been a growing, not even a growing trend, a massive Tua can't go through his progressions, Tua can't do this, Tua can't do that. And there was a throw to the running back. I can't remember who the running back was, which is getting a lot of traction on social media right now, where Tua goes through the reads, left to right, first read, nope, second read, nope, third read, nope, dump off. And I think it's first down, he goes to like second and 2. And everyone was saying, why didn't Tua throw to the receiver? There's a window there. And I think Dan Orlovsky and someone else had broken it down and basically said, while the guy is open to what you guys think is open, the corner has these tips where it's like, if you throw this ball, I'm taking it back. So just to finish off on Tua, Charlie, just overall, is this what we want to see from Tua? And I think even Mike McDaniel said Tua done the right things. He didn't, put us in any danger. He went through his progressions, and he was safe with the ball.
I'm comfortable with Tua. I'm comfortable with the man arrived at the stadium like 6 hours before the game. And Jason Taylor on air said he's never seen someone arrive to the stadium so early on a game day. And it looked a bit weird to me, I'm not going to lie, to see Tua in an empty stadium. Just basically, Drew Brees would do something like what Tua did, but at practice. He came to the stadium, he'll line up, run plays by himself with the imaginary people around, no one in the stadium. But Drew Brees will do it at practice with no one at practice watching him. And it just tells me it's new. And it's new for everyone. The system is new for everyone. And again, this is going back to it's like learning a language. It's like learning an instrument. They just got this playbook. They just got this system in two months ago, basically, right? So for him to come early and, I'm still learning everything. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he didn't have his wristband with his plays on his wrist, right? And that's partly because he was probably only going to run 11 plays in 4 different formations. You know what I'm saying? So he probably didn't need it. Had it been a regular season game, I gotta imagine he would have had the wrist book with different pages on it, right? So I'm comfortable with Tua. I don't think Tua is an issue, but I will say this. The offense as a whole does not look fluent yet. I understand that it's preseason. The defense, it looks like it's mid-season form. Like, hey, we're in the places we need to be. I'm supposed to be here. We're almost picking the ball off. I'm gonna start with you, Lee. From a level from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Are we hitting the panic button? Where's your panic meter at for the offense right now?
I don't panic.
Okay. So is that 1? Is that 1 right now for you?
Jay knows this. He often gets text back from me just saying, "Don't panic, it's fine." In fact, I think I sent him that very message last night during the game. Everything's going to be just fine. I think what you saw last night is so far removed from what the product they intend on putting on the field. Everything's based on speed, whereas last night what you got was a minor upgrade on the offense you saw last year. What did you get? Connor Williams on the O-line compared to last year. Cedric Wilson, who's been brought in to play as a number 3, but really was out there last night as a number 1. That's kind of it. So I think that a lot of the compensation for any O-line concerns that people have got is going to be people winning early in their routes, and that's the speed guys. And we haven't seen a single one of those touch the field yet. So until I see that and they don't perform, I'm not worrying yet.
I've seen some pretty good pockets. I'm not gonna lie to you. The pockets look pretty good.
Pockets have been great.
Yeah.
But you haven't got someone who can get open in 3 yards like Tyreek Hill can or like Jalen Waddle can.
Right.
And I think you don't have that comfortability that, Tua's going to just stand up and throw it at Jalen Waddle. He knows where Jalen's going to be and he knows what Jalen's going to do. And I think you saw you're not playing with those guys that you're playing with all the time. It's just everything. It's like you mentioned it before. Everything's vanilla. Everything's dialed back. I think even the speed, everything's just cranked down. We're not at 11 yet. Everything's just cranked back down. So I've got no panic yet.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm still low key tripping on how y'all was laughing at me and how I said Birmingham. I don't appreciate it. Hey, so Jason, your panic meter, did it move any? Is it still at 1?
Yeah, I'm extremely reactive. I think we're saying that we were 1-7 last season, and Lee was telling me not to panic, and I was just like, this is the time I'm going to panic.
Yeah.
But yeah, even last night, it was just, I think, obviously I've done so much analysis and so much thought process into this team, and I have an idea in my head of how it's going to work. And then last night, seeing us get stuffed at the line over and over and over in the run game, it was hard not to react to it. But watching back today and getting a bit of context in what actually happened, and everything's just right. There's so many pieces to add. There's going to be so much more that McDaniel does that we've heard about in the training camp reports, rather than just running out of the middle. And that's all we've got to see. Obviously, in the Shanahan offense, we know how important getting the run game going is going to be. So that any panic would just be around that. But I think that can be negated by the fact that teams are going to have to cover Hill and Waddle, and they won't be able to fill the box. And we're going to have Armstead out there and Williams out there. So my panic last night was around the run game. But looking at it today, taking context, it's not a hard fix.
I'm gonna go to you, Kadeem. Here's my thing, and I'm gonna answer my own question. I love the way the pocket looked. Like, all the quarterbacks had pockets, and I just need Tua to have some time. That's it. And if Tua has time, I'm okay with everything. There's been offenses in the NFL that didn't have run games. You have to be able to run the ball to win, but man, there's been some success if you can't run the ball. I'm gonna be real with you. The scheme is supposed to set you up to run, not the running back. You should be able to plug any running back in there, and the scheme sets you free, right? And this is the second game we've seen so far, and I'm the person who's like, hey, relax. It's preseason. That's me. But the reason I came with the question is because I'm getting some level on my meter right now. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all boys. I'm it's out of 10 being the highest. I'm at like a 3 right now. Like, hey, what's going on, man? I wanted to run the ball. Yes, it's preseason. No, everyone isn't in there. I get it. But Kadeem, did your panic meter move any?
No, I think partly it's because it's preseason, and I think Matt McDaniel, the kind of guy's like, I'm not giving you guys anything. So we're going to run the ball. We're going to run inside zone simply and outside zone simply. Like, there's going to be no misdirection, no nothing. We're just going to run the ball. And if you can make a guy miss and the offensive line can, get some push, then great. But, behind the scenes, and I think I'd be worried if in like the joint practice with the Bucs, and the stuff we hear from the Travis Wingford and, and the other reporters who are at training, if it was like, oh my day, the Dolphins can't run the ball, I'd be like, okay, I'm worried. And again, I get it, Dolphins against Dolphins, Bucs joint practice is completely different to, an actual game time situation. But right now, I'm pretty calm. I did want to kind of take it on a more positive note. Jason, just how good was Zach Sealer and Port Augustine last night? Like, there were some defensive players who really, really, really showed up and, made sure that they're in the conversation for the 53-man roster. Just how good did you think some of these backups and first-string players play last night?
Yeah, really well. I mean, it's so good to see that we're still bringing that same blitz packages. And I messaged Lee last night and I said this D will be a problem for any team. I mean, the pressure we can bring, and then when you got guys like Holland, X, and Jones in the backfield, it's going to be incredible to watch. Sealer, he was good last year. He's just carried on that trajectory. He's a good football player, good rusher, big, strong man. And it's exciting. It is that unit is deep. That's the one unit we haven't got to worry about depth, which is it's good to have a unit so deep. Not many teams have deep units like that. So, yeah, really promising.
Lee, anything you want to add on to guys like Zach Sealer, who, as Jason mentioned, had a good season last year and seems to be carrying it on this year?
Yeah, I mean, I love a Zach Sealer because Zach Sealer is the sort of player that when your team comes to play the Dolphins, you suddenly go, "Who the hell is that guy?"
Yes.
Whereas we know who that guy is, and I think that's great that he kind of like goes under the radar. I don't know why that happens, because his play suggests that he should be a household name. But I mean, yeah, just great to see him continue in the same vein as last year.
Ever since Zila been here, he's been a dude. He's a real piece. And in the most polite way, he may be the reason why we might not be able to re-sign Christian Wilkins and be okay. But we're not going to go that far into it. Nick Needham goes out with a hand injury from what we believe is a dislocated finger. Do we have any update on the Nick Needham injury?
At the moment, no. But I believe he came back in yesterday. It seemed like he was down for a bit, but I believe it was okay-ish. But I think him and Mackenzie Alexander have some nice reps. I really don't want to go into nowhere anymore. It's something which we kind of know it's just not. It's not clicking at the moment. At some point, you have to hope it clicks. But yeah, the opening drive from the Raiders was a bit too easy. They seem to target Noah where possible, but it's going to happen. And these are the kind of things which I say it as hopeful as I can. It makes him better. It's more learning, it's more reps, it's more experience. And at that point, there's not much more you can do. Teddy Two Gloves comes in, and the Dolphins really love giving away safeties against the Raiders when it's not necessary. Teddy done okay, but once again, the streets are talking, and they're talking about Skylar Thompson. This kid is legit playing his way into the 53-man roster. And Mike McDaniel on Sunday was asked about carrying 3 quarterbacks. And he was like, the 53-man roster, the 53 best players. Doesn't really matter about positions. And it's a good... He basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, I will carry 3 quarterbacks if they are good enough to merit that spot. It means that obviously elsewhere you got to make a deduction, but he said he's not going to get too bogged down into having, I need 7 receivers, I need X, Y, and Z. It will be the best 53. Lee, Skylar Thompson, how good was he again last night?
I thought he was great when he came in. Showed that he was ready to go late in the game. It's very, Mike McDaniel pointed out the reason he played him for the entire game last week is he wanted to see what he was like when he was told, you're the guy, you have to get ready for this game, spend the night doing the pre-game stuff, prepping to be the starter. Well, this week he came in cold and performed just as well. I mean, like you say, he's doing everything to force you into that tough decision of, do we carry 3 quarterbacks? I think that's all you can ask of a rookie quarterback and the third guy on the depth chart, is to make that decision really difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie, is Skylar Thompson QB2 right now, or is it a matter of the Dolphins have to carry 3 quarterbacks because you chuck him in the practice squad and he's gone?
Skylar Thompson went 9 for 10 against the Raiders in the preseason. 129 yards, 93.9 passer rating. Listen, I said it the last time in his first NFL preseason game. He is one of the best 64 quarterbacks in the NFL. Does it mean he's going to start somewhere anytime soon? No, it doesn't mean that. But he's better than at least 15 of the 64 quarterbacks in the NFL. He can get mobile. He can deliver. I think he needs a little more touch on his passes. But to answer your question, I'm going to be real with you. I like Teddy. Listen, when I see Teddy play, I'm like, all right, this is why we have Teddy. All right. Now that safety, yeah, he could have got that ball out a lot faster. He was in a rush, panic, all the good stuff. It wasn't his fault, but I don't put that on Teddy. I'll be real with you. We are not in a position where we can just trade Teddy to the Seahawks right now. Can we? Yes, we can. We paid Teddy, I want to say about $8 million, $7 million contract. So if we move him, it's only a 1-year deal. If we move him, we'll have about $6.5 million of dead cap. What happens with dead cap is it'll go against us next season when we have to pay Tyreek Hill all the money, when we have to pay Teron Armstead all the money, we'll have to pay all kind of players all this cash next season. So what I think happens is there's a very good chance we keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Teddy is the backup, but next year we save $8 million and keep Skylar Thompson as the backup, and we will not have to pay another backup to come in, big money to back up to it. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, complete agreement with that. I think when McDaniel came in, he made the statement about what he wanted in a backup quarterback, especially for Tua, which was experience, someone who's been in the league, who can give good advice. And I think he was actually defining Teddy Bridgewater when he said all that. Skylar looks great, really good find. You get it in all sports where you get these young players come through, they've got nothing to lose, they've got no fear, and they ball out, and he's doing that, and it's great to see. We won't get rid of Teddy this offseason. There's too many question marks over Tua's health. I don't think there's an issue with his health, but there are question marks about it. So in his first season in head coaching, he's not going to lose that safety net. If Tua balls out this season like we believe he will, like we hope he will, if he stays healthy, then I've got no doubt they'll be more than confident to have Skylar as QB2. So this year, I think we carry 3. We don't want to reach in a situation where he gets picked up. So we'll carry 3, and then next year, you said we save the money. We get a very capable backup QB, and that all stems off if Tua stays healthy this year.
We over here at Go Time Dolphins, we have 2 giveaways at the moment. The first is a fit-to-size Jalen Waddle jersey. To enter it, all you have to do is email gotimedolphins@gmail.com with your jersey size. Nothing more, nothing less. Email gotimedolphins@gmail.com with your jersey size to enter the fit-to-size friend of the podcast Javon Holland jersey. The other giveaway is same email address, but this time the question is, how many wide receivers will the Dolphins carry on the opening week on the active roster? So week 1, how many wide receivers will the Miami Dolphins have? And the reason I bring that up is because on last night's performance, I don't think it's even a debate anymore. Eric Ezekama is wide receiver 4. That guy came in and he went off. Whether it was in the air, whether it was yards after the catch, he is an absolute dude. Easy E basically said, and I don't want to, I say I don't want to, I have to. He basically said to Preston Williams, this is how it's done. You make the most opportunities. When the ball gets thrown to you, you keep on going. Lee, how good was Eric Ezekama on Saturday night?
So I don't want to spoil the party here, but I know he was really good. I just don't want to get too excited just yet, solely based on when he appeared in the game. If you use that as a barometer of where the coaching staff have him right now, it's still quite near the bottom of the depth chart when it comes to wide receivers. If you think the top 2 were out of the game and he still didn't appear till late in the 3rd, then, you can kind of stop slotting them in on paper and you can kind of build what the coaching staff are thinking. But I think he made a real good case for himself to have far more work in the joint practices and say, give me another chance again next week, higher up the depth and see how he gets on next week.
That's a good point. That's a great point. I like points. So I like Eric Ezekama to be a guy. I do think we have all the depth we need at receiver. Even Craycraft. I like Craycraft. You guys ever heard the song Kerncraft 400? You guys know that? Y'all listen to that?
They used to play a kickoff of every NFL game, right?
Yeah.
These guys have definitely heard it, even if they don't know the name of it. Guarantee it.
So Kerncraft 400 is the song is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Current Craft 400. So, yeah, man. Craycraft 400. I like it. Craycraft 400 is a dude, too. Jason, what do you think about the state of our wide receivers? What are we going to do? We got some depth. This is going to be the first time in a long time where we're going to have to let some receivers go that can make teams, make another team's roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Again, that's behind the D-line being deep, the receiver room's deep as well. I think the interesting thing is McDaniel's got some of his own guys in there that he trusts, that know the scheme. And I think that's really important. He obviously, like even with Sanu, Sanu's going to go in there and he's going to block for his life. That's what he does. And Sherfield as well. They're good experienced receivers that know the scheme. Easy. He's supposed to have done really well at training camp. What we've seen every day has just been stock up on him. Pre-season game, he's come in, he's made plays, and I love the way he just doesn't go down in that first contact, and that's why they drafted him. And he showed that last night. I think he had 4 guys on his back, and he's still trying to move the chains. And he will make the roster. I think there'll probably be the guys I mentioned and him. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for your Lynn Bowdens or Preston Williams, but he will get targets this regular season, no doubt about that.
I'm glad you mentioned Lynn Bowden because he was on punt and kick return duty yesterday. Jason, how do you think he did? And could you see? I'm not saying he's going to replace Tyreek Hill in that department, but do you think he done his chances? No harm in being a viable candidate to play special teams, at least with return this season. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I really like the gadgety sort of players, and he is definitely one of those. And he's not your typical speedster punt returner, but he knows where the field is. He's got good balance. So there's definitely no harm in doing that. He put out a bit of a cryptic tweet before the game of just LOL, which I still don't. It's probably a private joke for him and nothing related to football at all. But still winding me up that I don't know what it is. But I like Lynn Bowden. He's got some good traits, but he's unfortunate that he's in a position that he's in a crowded locker room, a crowded receiver room, and there'll be plenty of teams wanting to have him if he doesn't have him anywhere keep if he doesn't make the roster.
Yeah. Charlie, what do you make of Lynn Bowden's performance on Saturday night?
Man, it's like addition by subtraction, unfortunately, because it's not about Lynn Bowden's performance. It's about Sanders' performance. Like, I think Sanders can be something. I love Lynn Bowden, actually. I wasn't sure about bringing him in when he got drafted by the Raiders. I'm like, little did I didn't know our receivers weren't going to pan out. But, yeah, I love Lynn Bowden on the team. And I like the fact that he's a legit football player. He's gonna play. He's gonna give you what he has. If he's hurt, he's gonna give you. If he can only give you 30%, I think he'll give you that 30%. I think the coaches are gonna have to tell you, hey, you're not going today. That's who Lynn Bowden is, I believe. I don't know why this man is on the bubble, bro. I don't know. So for me, it's gonna come down. It's obviously Hill, Waddle. Cedric Wilson, just because of the contract, Eric Ezukama, then for me, it would be Lynn Bowden, and I think it's Trent Sherfield. It doesn't appear as of right now that Lynn Bowden is safe. So I'm anxious. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I can't wait to see how this pans out. But when you keep the third quarterback, you're taking a position away from somewhere else. You're losing a linebacker, or you're losing a DB, or you're losing a running back. So instead of 4 running backs, you only got 3. Or instead of 4 tight ends, you only have 3. Instead of 6 receivers, you're only bringing 5. So if you keep that third quarterback on the roster, man, we finally arrived to where we could start letting go some good players.
Yeah. Very quickly. So, end of the game, the Dolphins are driving down the field, getting to field goal range. Jason Sanders steps up and hits the post. Charlie, how sure was you that Jason Sanders was going to make that kick? and your reaction when he didn't. And one scale of 1 to 10, your panic meter when that miss and in terms of how Jason Sanders is going to be this season.
Hey, Lee and Jason, listen, I thought Lee was on the show when we talked about every other year for Jason Sanders. I'm not sure. But listen, every other year, Jason Sanders is money. You could bet on Jason Sanders. And since we're talking about betting on something, shout out to DraftKings Jason for being in the building. You could bet on Jason Sanders. And every even year, 18, 20, and 22, you could bet on Jason Sanders. 19, 21, and 23, don't put your money on Jason Sanders. So here's my thing. I trust him still. He nailed it from 57, bro. He nailed that 57-yarder down the middle, hit the net, by the way. It wasn't like, yo, I don't know about this ball. It was a good ball from 57, like a video game. I'm going to trust it. I'm gonna trust Jason Sanders. I will say he does not give me comfort for longevity for the future, but we're trying to win a Super Bowl now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't not worry about Jason Sanders in 2023 and 25. I need Jason Sanders right now in 22.
Yeah, definitely. Jason, you share a name with the kicker. How do you think his performance has been so far in preseason, and obviously that miss yesterday on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the miss wasn't great. A kicker's going to miss, and I'd rather it be in preseason. He's looked money all camp. Has been the reports. He's made some big kicks. He made the 57-yarder. I'm not worried. It's a confidence game being a kicker. You saw the Cincinnati kid last season, McPherson. I mean, people were actually betting on him to be MVP in the Super Bowl. And that just goes to show how confidence rallies through everyone. And that's same as a kicker. So I've got no problems. They're getting back into camp. He'll make 5 kicks out of 5. Confidence will go back up. And then it's just how he starts the season. If he goes in week 1, makes his 2 field goal attempts, it's good. That the last minute kick in a preseason game against the Raiders will not be in anyone's mind. So I've got no worries. I think he's a good kicker, and it's just a confidence game. So it's just got to get a good early start in the regular season.
Yeah. In terms of confidence as well, so Quandre White got his first touchdown for the Dolphins. Lovely celebration, and you can see the entire sideline celebrate because they know how much it means. You know that even though it's not in the regular season, it's the first one. It's clear that Mike McDaniel has fostered a culture in the locker room where everyone wants every single person to succeed. What did you make of the touchdown celebration and the touchdown in general, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows some pop, didn't he, when he was in the game compared to, like you said, the running backs early in the game struggled a little bit. Yes, there was some vanilla play calling and things like that, but he found a way to get open on his route. So just show some explosiveness and some pop. Another one of those guys that's screaming out for, let me show you some more next week. But, you know, give me more opportunities. So, yeah, excited. Celebration, great. Love seeing the whole team go down there and celebrate with him. Like you say, it just shows a different mentality from, you know, the coaching staff are instilling in this team compared to the teams of a few years past.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie and then Jason, what do you make of Quandre White?
You can go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I think it's good to see someone. I mean, Sony Michel had those runs on 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1, and we couldn't get a yard, and that was frustrating. And that's always been the negative with Michel as he goes down on first contact. White's a back that wouldn't go down on first contact, and he's a type of running back that Sam Fan offense has brought in. Like your Jeff Wilsons, that just the tough runners that get the tough yards. And he could well be our back that does that for us this year. Jared Dokes is going to be back on the practice squad. It's good to see. And as I said, the culture of the team has definitely changed, and it's so apparent. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if White, what could be the power back, when we need 1 yard, put him in. As long as he earns the trust that his fumbles have been good in camp, then that'll be the key. But yeah, as Lee said, I think pop was a very good word to describe how he played.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a chance Sony Michel doesn't make this team. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna say it like that. Look, we're about to go into bonus time. Go ahead and plug yourself, Lee, 5YardLee.
Yeah, you can find me at 5YardLee and on the Dol-Fan UK podcast. Just basically on social media talking Dolphins, to be honest.
Can I just say very quickly, you're such a modest person. It's like, 5YardLee, Dol-Fan UK podcast. That dude, 5YardLee of the Dol-Fan UK podcast on the Miami Dolphins podcast network. That dude, hype yourself up, man.
Hey.
But again, that's Lee, and that's why we love Lee as much as we love him, because
I mean, same thing with Jason. Jason snuck in a mean mic drop on one of our last episodes, talking about, I set those markets. You feel me? Matter of fact, Jason, what other markets do you set? Is it just the Dolphins market, or is it like the AFC East market when it comes to DraftKings?
So it's the whole NFL. I do the lot. No, seriously.
All of it.
All the game lines and stuff. We've got a good team. There's 4 or 5 guys that I work with, all very knowledgeable. We do have to do all the manual, the player props, all the stuff like that, all the touchdown scores. But I've got a good team around me, and any market you see on DraftKings, even if you want to request a market, drop me a message and I'll see what I can do about getting it priced up for you.
Jeez. Hold on. So listen, are you telling me if request the market? Are you telling me if I want this custom-made prop, hey, I think this player should have a prop for this characteristic or this stat, you telling me you can make that?
Yeah. If you wanted Tua to get over 4,000 passing yards, and who are your boys on the team? Who do you like?
Wow. Hey, look, we're just gonna leave right there. Cause we gotta bring people back. We gotta tease people. So look, come back, mess with us here on Go Time Dolphins. You'll get more of DraftKings Jason and the easy money segment that we're gonna have this season coming up. What bets to take, what bets you might want to stay away from. Charlie Touche is gonna have his bets, his easy money pick of the week bet, and then Go Time Dolphins is gonna have an easy money pick of the week as well. But listen, for DraftKings Jason and 5YardLee from Dol-Fan UK Miami Dolphins Podcast Network, and Kadeem Simmons, that's a long title, and Kadeem Simmons, you know what I'm saying? I'm Charlie Touche. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. I blew that one, but y'all already.
And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
Even though in my head I was like, make sure you tune in this time. Catch us.
Yeah, but hey, so I had got a notification, and I'm on my phone right now because my internet is down. So a notification popped up, and I started reading it in the middle of it, and it threw me off.
So basically, the linebackers was there. The defensive ends were crashing down on you, hands in the air. Instead of you invading the pocket, there you go, and then there you go. You was like, you
gotta take the sack sometimes, Kadeem. Sometimes you just gotta take the sack. Don't fumble. Don't throw the pick. Take the sack. And I took the sack that time. I'm all right.
As we said, you throw it and make sure you hit the mascot square in his big head. That's what you do. That's what you're meant to do. So Jason, I reckon, as we lose Charlie, it's cool. He'll return when he returns. Mike McDaniel on Sunday said that Jalen Waddle has surpassed his expectations. He's taken a bigger leap than anyone expected, and that, if anything, he's a bit annoyed at the moment because he hasn't played yet. But Mike McDaniel is kind of holding him back to make sure he's ready for week 1. You set marks, all that kind of stuff. Just how good is Jalen Waddle going to be, or can he be this year, even with Tyreek Hill in his team?
Yeah, I mean, that's high praise from McDaniel. I mean, he understands football. He knows how good players are. So for someone that had the rookie season model had to come in and surprise him, and that's exciting. And he could be. I mean, he's got to share targets with Tyreek Hill, which is never going to be easy for him. But as Lee alluded to earlier, he's got that trust with Tua. They've got that relationship all the way back from Alabama. So, I mean, the sky is the limit. He really could be one of the top 10 receivers in this league.
I'm interested to hear other guys' opinions on this, right? So, does Jalen have to share targets with Tyreek Hill, or does Tyreek Hill have to convince Tua to not throw at Jalen Waddle?
That's a good question.
Because that connection's there. Like, Tyreek's the new guy. Like, I know Tyreek's the name, and Tyreek is one of the best in the NFL, no debate. But he's joining the relationship.
Here's the thing. I think I got the answer to that. The reason Waddle got off so much is because we didn't have any other options at wide receiver. So here's what I think happens. I think so. Before, when Coach McDaniel came to the Dolphins, he had a couple of interviews. Chris Greer said, this is what do you think about and what do you want to do here? And it's an interview, Mike McDaniel. We don't know. The guy's going to tell you what he wants, what you want to hear to get the job. He has the job now. When he had the job, he was on NFL Network at one of the meetings in West Palm Beach where all the coaches go to, and he was talking, and he said Jalen Waddle, pick that guy up in fantasy. He that guy is gonna have all kind of fantasy points for you. I can't remember if it was before we acquired Tyreek Hill or after we acquired Tyreek Hill. Because here's my thing. I said on another episode, I don't think Tyreek Hill takes away from Waddle's targets. I think we needed someone to have establish their own identity as the X. And now we have that in Hill. I believe Cedric Wilson takes away from Waddle's targets. So, man, listen, I'm on the record. Me and DraftKings Jason was chopping it up. I think Hill will have more yards than Waddle. I think they'll both have over 1,000. I think they'll both have over 1,000 yards and under 100 receptions each.
Can I just, before I make a point, throughout this episode, I've heard Jason and Lee chop it up, off air throughout the game. I'm hearing Jason and Charlie are chopping it up. Is someone going to chop up with me? At some point, you guys as well. Can I get involved with the conversation? In terms of, who's going to take away from him and stuff like that. LB, I know you're listening. I know Charlie was your day one, but I came in and it's now okay, it's Charlie Kadeem. We go back and forth and stuff like that. I reckon Tyreek Hill is the Kadeem of Go Time Dolphins. So Tua and Jalen Waddle are Charlie and LB. And normally they've got that connection. Okay, yeah, I've got you. Snap. Tua's going to drop back, look at Jalen Waddle, and as he's about to throw it, you can see Tyreek Hill butt naked open down the field. It's okay, Jalen, hold on 2 secs. Bang. I think it's one of those things where they're going to scheme guys open. There'll be some plays where it's Jalen Waddle, you're going to go off because you're up against, I don't know, the Patriots' second, cornerback. There'll be other plays where it's Tyreek Hill, that's your matchup? Okay, watch this. I believe there's a game, I think it's a game at Hard Rock against the Patriots where Jalen Waddle goes to line up and he's whistling at 2-1. He's whistling. Say, yo, dude, just give me the ball.
He actually said, Tua. And he's he's look what I got in front of me.
So I reckon that's what it's going to be. It's Jalen Waddle going to be doing this. And the other side, he'll go in, yo, look who I have in front of me. He can't guard me. So I think the Dolphins are just so many. I say so many. The Bucs have said it, but NFL media have said it multiple times. You can't guard Hill and Waddle. It's impossible. They've got if Tua has an embarrassment of riches right now is something he hasn't had. So yeah. I'll learn on this before passing on to Jason. you guys have my numbers. Like, just message me. And in the comments, like just someone message me. I'm here. Like, just don't leave me out. But Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll message you when I'm panicking next time instead of Lee. I won't get to calm down and relax. No, I think what I've just taken from just listening to you three talk about that is the most excited I've been as a Dolphins fan, and that is we've probably seen every report, every camp interview, every minute of the pre-season games. There's not many things that other teams are going to know that we haven't seen or heard, and we don't even know how the target share is going to be. What are other coaches going to do? Who are they going to double team? I mean, it's just that's going to lead to so many exciting opportunities for this team. And I think week one, I mean, I think it's just going to be mixed up all season. Week one, they double Tyreek, we go to Waddle. So week two, they double Waddle, and then we go to Tyreek. It's just a nightmare for opposition coaches, and I don't know how they game plan against it.
Hey, before we let you guys go, can I get a record? What's our record going to be at the end of the regular season? Lee, you first.
Last year, I took 12 wins, and I still think that team was good enough to win 12 games.
For sure.
But taking into account, new coach, first-time head coach, learning curve, and I think it's great not showing your hand in the preseason, but it could lead to a learning curve early in the season where it's not quite as fluid as you would hope it might be. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's a chance that it happens. That's just going to stop me predicting more wins, so I just take 12 games again.
What you got, Jason?
It's a tough one. How many wins gets us in the playoffs? 11? Nah, I mean 12. I've got a floor of 10 and a ceiling of 13. So I guess my prediction will be 11-12. But I think it's a tough schedule, but I think the right games come early, and then we've got a nice stretch in the middle. And the end is tough. I still don't know how two will be going to cold places in December. That's still a massive unknown. But yeah, I'll go 11.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not going to set markets on DraftKings and then hit me with an 11 or a 12. I need a real answer. So I'm going to give you that 11 for sure. So, yeah.
Very, 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 very quickly, the 49ers have Trey Sermon on the bubble. Yes or no answer. Would you take Trey Sermon in Miami?
I like Trey Sermon, but I got to see more of him. I know this, and we're gonna let everybody else answer. Mike McDaniel seen him. He's seen him. He was there in San Fran. They drafted him there. So if we get him, we know he's a piece. If we don't get him, then Mike McDaniel was okay with letting him go.
Lee?
I was just going to say exactly what Charlie just said. Mike McDaniel would tell you, he's going to snap him up if he's important, and if not, that just tells you what you need to know.
Jason?
Yeah, it's a no from me. There was times last season where all the running backs were banged up. Sermon was buried in the end. After I know he got hurt, and then he was buried. And as a betting man, I thought, this is the week they're going to use Sermon, and they didn't. And it was a surprise to me. But there's obviously something there that they didn't like. So yes, no from me.
What about you, Kadeem? Don't give us your season prediction though.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well. But I just thought with him on the bubble, I'd pose the question because 49ers running back, Sonny Michel isn't quite looking like what we thought he might be. So I thought I'd pose the question.
It definitely feels like Mike McDaniel is a far harder coach to predict, even at this early stage, than Brian Flores was as a coach. Brian Flores had like a really straightforward set of rules and player expectations that he had, which meant it was kind of easier to predict what he might do with the roster or what kind of players he would be interested in. Whereas Mike McDaniel, I mean, we've got no idea what he's going to do with this roster. There's so much that is kept under his hat, which is interesting because he's so open with the media and gives us such a lot of insight, but doesn't tell us a lot at the same time. That's why we're trying to work out, well, if he keeps a third quarterback, what's he going to do elsewhere to create that spot? I think with Brian Flores, it was far easier to see what path he was looking to take.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel gives answers like I do, where you talk for like 5 minutes and you go, dude, what did you actually just say? Like, you never asked the question. Like, that's not helpful. So, and again, we love Mike McDaniel, but everyone at Go Time Dolphins loves Kadeem. So, it's all good.
Everyone stay tuned. We're going to get everyone's season prediction as far as record. We're going to have a graphic up, and we're going to keep track this season. Next episode, we're going to have returning champion of the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League, or Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football. Yeah. He won the championship last year. Nick Kerr will be on the episode next. We'll top it up about fantasy football.